Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visite suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Rancangan kami menawarkan banyak bahasa. Sila kunjungi suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Thou shalt not let thy senses make a playground of thy mind. Thou shalt not separate thy being from being and the rest, but merge the ocean in the drop within the ocean. Please continue watching to find out more.
Здравствуйте, уважаемые зрители, means hello dear viewers in Russian. My name is Elena. The peaceful people of Ingushetia are ever thankful for the blessing of kind friends such as you. May your heart rejoice in the love of God. The 19th century Madame Helena Petrovna Blavatsky was born into a noble family in Ukraine. As a child, young Helena displayed a gift for clairvoyance, as well as an interest in metaphysical phenomena. Years later, she traveled throughout Europe, the Middle East and India, studying with various teachers and Sufi sects. Following the guidance of an Indian yogi named Mahatma Maurya, Madame Blavatsky co-founded the Theosophical Society. Theosophy, meaning divine wisdom, refers to knowledge that comes through spiritual experience rather than intellectual understanding alone. The Theosophical Society is dedicated to uplifting humanity through a realization of the oneness of life and the wisdom underlying all religions. Madame Blavatsky wrote several important books on theosophy, including Isis Unveiled, The Secret Doctrine, The Key to Theosophy, and The Voice of the Silence. The Secret Doctrine, published in 1888, has been acknowledged by many as one of the most remarkable books in the world. It is considered the Bible of Theosophy and a source book of esoteric tradition, offering insight into the origin and evolution of the universe. The Secret Doctrine also details an account of root races dating back millions of years. Although she was considered the author of the Secret Doctrine, Madame Blavatsky often expressed that she only conveyed the ancient wisdom that was passed on to her. The true authors of the work were her teachers, the Mahatmas or Great Souls, who were the guardians of the secret wisdom of the ages. Today on Words of Wisdom, we invite you to listen to excerpts of the 4 elements from Madame Blavatsky's The Secret Doctrine. Section 14, The 4 Elements. Metaphysically and esoterically, there is but one element in nature, and at the root of it is the deity, and the so-called 7 elements, of which 5 have already manifested and asserted their existence, are the garment, the veil of that deity, direct from the essence whereof comes man, whether considered physically, psychically, mentally, or spiritually. 4 elements only are generally spoken of in later antiquity, while 5 only are admitted in philosophy. For the body of ether, or astral light, is not fully manifested yet, and its noumenon is still the omnipotent Father Ether, the synthesis of the rest. But what are these elements, whose compound bodies have now been discovered by chemistry and physics to contain numberless sub-elements, even the 60 or 70 of which no longer embrace the whole number suspected? Let us follow their evolution from the historical beginnings at any rate. The 4 elements were fully characterized by Plato when he said that they were that which composes and decomposes the compound bodies. Hence, cosmolatry, or worship of the cosmos, was never, even in its worst aspect, the fetishism which adores or worships the passive external form and matter of any object, but looked ever to the noumenon therein. Fire, air, water, earth were but the visible garb, the symbols of the informing, invisible souls or spirits, the cosmic gods to whom worship was offered by the ignorant, and simple but respectful recognition by the wiser. In their turn, the phenomenal subdivisions of the noumenal elements were informed by the elementals, so-called the nature spirits of lower grades. In the Theogony of Mokus, we find ether or astral light first, and then the air, the two principles from which Ulan, the intelligible God, the visible universe of matter, is born. In the Orphic hymns, the Eros Fans evolves from the spiritual egg, wind being the spirit of God, which is said to move in ether, brooding over the chaos, the divine idea. In the Hindu Kathopanishad, Purusha, the divine spirit, already stands before the original matter, and from their union springs the great soul of the world, Mahatma, Brahman, the spirit of life. These latter appellations being again identical with the universal soul, or anima mundi, the astral light of the theurgists and Kabbalists being its last and lowest division. The elements of Plato and Aristotle were thus the incorporeal principles attached to the four great divisions of our cosmic world, and it is with justice that Kreutzer defines these primitive beliefs as a species of magism, a psychic paganism, and a deification of potencies, a spiritualization which placed the believers in a close community with these potencies. So close indeed that the hierarchies of these potencies or forces have been classified on a graduated scale of 7 from the ponderable to the imponderable. They are septenary, not as an artificial aid to facilitate their comprehension, but in their real cosmic gradation, from their chemical or physical to their purely spiritual composition. Gods with the ignorant masses, gods independent and supreme, demons with the fanatics who, intellectual as they often may be, are unable to understand the spirit of the philosophical sentence in pluribus unum. With the Hermetic philosopher, they are forces relatively blind or intelligent, according to which of the principles in them he deals with. It required long millenniums before they found themselves, finally, in our cultured age, degraded into simple chemical elements. At any rate, good Christians, and especially the biblical Protestants, ought to show more reverence for the four elements if they would maintain any for Moses. For the Bible manifests the consideration and mystic significance in which they were held by the Hebrew lawgiver on every page of the Pentateuch. The tent which contained the Holy of Holies was a cosmic symbol, sacred in one of its meanings, to the elements, the four cardinal points, and ether or astral light. Josephus shows it built in white, the color of ether or astral light, and this explains also why, in the Egyptian and the Hebrew temples, according to Clement of Alexandria, a gigantic curtain supported by 5 pillars separated the Sanctum Sanctorum, now represented by the altar in Christian churches, wherein the priests alone were permitted to enter, from the part accessible to the profane. By its 4 colors, this curtain symbolized the 4 principal elements, and with the 5 pillars signified the knowledge of the divine that the 5 senses can enable man to acquire with the help of the 4 elements. Delightful viewers, it's been a pleasure to have you with us today on Words of Wisdom. Please join us again tomorrow for part 2 of this program. Coming up next is Kashmir, a Paradise on Earth, right after noteworthy news. In the benevolence of the divine, may you marvel at the miracle of creation in this world and beyond.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/WOW.